Play ball! In honor of opening day, I thought it would be really fun to break out this pair of Air Force Ones from 2006. These are the baseball edition, and let's bring them out and check them out up close. Nike really nailed the inspiration on this pair of shoes. With the white leather uppers, set off by the red baseball stitching, these shoes are unbelievable. And they're not the only pair of Nikes to feature this iconic baseball stitching on here. Actually, around the same time that these shoes came out in 2006, Nike released a pack of shoes called the UTT pack. UTT stood for Untold Truth, and it was a pack of shoes inspired by the Negro Leagues of baseball in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Most of the shoes in that pack were inspired by the baseball uniforms of those teams, and a lot of those shoes had this iconic baseball stitching on here. There are also a whole bunch of different New York Yankees-inspired Nikes that feature this baseball stitching. There's a handful of Deion Sanders cross-training shoes with this iconic stitching, and there's a really cool pair of Dorenbecher Dunks that features baseball stitching going around the toe and swooshes that are made out of footballs, because the child at Dorenbecher Children's Hospital that designed those shoes loved baseball and football. Of all the baseball stitching shoes, these ones right here are my favorite. I just feel like Nike really nailed the inspiration well. Let's check out some of the details on these shoes. Have a look at the tongue right here. You'll notice this cool little tag on the tongue with crisscrossing baseball bats and a little swoosh underneath there. When you look at the insoles on this pair of shoes, you'll see a little LE in here because this pair was a limited edition. Around this same era, Nike was putting LE on the insoles of some of their limited pairs. This pair of shoes was on display in the ShoeZeum in an exhibit with shoes inspired by balls. Along with these were some tennis ball Hypermax NFWs, some of those football-inspired Deions, and the Dorenbecher Dunks inspired by baseball and football. And I also had the Golf Dunk SBs on display here with the funky elongated tongues. Now those shoes were not inspired by golf balls, but they looked so fun and funky alongside a bunch of golf balls, alongside all of these other ball shoes. And this ball exhibit was right before the cross-training section at the ShoeZeum. My thinking was people use cross-trainers to play multiple sports. So the best way to introduce that category of shoes would be with the balls that you use to play all of the different sports and shoes inspired by those balls. It was a really fun exhibit. There are a lot of famous baseball players that are sneakerheads. Most notably, there's Shane Victorino, there's Jeremy Guthrie, the real J-Guts, who recently retired from the sneaker game, and also Mosh, one of the greatest sneaker customizers, describes himself on Instagram as a pitcher turned painter. So that's pretty funny and maybe a little lesser known fact about Mosh that you might not know about. Anyway, it's been a real pleasure introducing you to these 2006 baseball Air Force Ones in honor of opening day.